Hold on for a second. What's up, YouTube family? I would like you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to our video. It would help us get into the algorithms so we could be seen and bring more engaging content to you guys. So like I said, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Appreciate you. To another edition of the Pick and Dimes podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson here with Zhu and P-Bush. How you fellas doing?
I'm doing well, man. I mean, last week, pretty high on the Bulls, man. That came crashing down real quick as Zhu and I were going back and forth.
Last week, I had PTSD already. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, well, sorry, Zhu. I hate to bring back the flashbacks, man, but that was just, as Zhu and I said, though, last week, man, to be expected to an extent. I had a little bit of wishful thinking there, but
yep.
Miami Heat doing Miami Heat things, taking down the Bulls and then the Hawks. And to be fair, gave the Cavs a little bit of a run for their money in the first half. But yeah, man, it's been a couple surprise series, couple that are going exactly as planned. But we are in the midst of NBA and NFL draft, man. It's a good week.
Yeah, all I got to say, I should have saw the Bulls losing coming. It's the third straight year the Miami Heat has knocked out the Bulls in the play-in tournament. And you know what I say about trends. Trends continue like this, even without Jimmy buckets. Like, they didn't even need Jimmy. Like, Tyler Hero went superhero and absolutely tortured the Bulls. Like, he looked like a combination of Ray Allen and, like, Steph Curry just running around jacking threes against the Bulls. Putrid defense, but that was an embarrassment. Actually went out to a bar to watch the game.
Wow.
Disgusting. I know. I don't do that.
Zhu doesn't do that
shit no more. Just for the Bulls.
Yeah, no.
Just for the Bulls. And me, I'm just looking with my roommate Eric, just watching this game in absolute disgust.
In your D Rose jersey?
In my D Rose jersey. Shameful. Just shameful. Eating my fries and watching disgust of this game, drinking my nasty cider, watching the nasty Bulls play basketball, man. It was a putrid game. Absolute putrid. Like I during the game, I brought up Tankathon to see the Bulls out to Cooper Flag.
Immediately.
That's how bad. That's how bad it was. So
after
that disgusting performance, was able to watch some good basketball teams play basketball. So been blessed to watch that. Shout out to the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Warriors. Some really good.
That was a great game.
So a lot of elite performances by some special players. A thing that the Bulls are deeply lacking.
Yes, sir.
I just could not. I could not be a Bulls fan. I could not. Like, I know it's indebted to you guys because you guys are from the city, but dude, it's just every year you get into the plan and they finish the season sometimes on a good note, especially like towards the end, they start winning games just enough to get to the plan. And it just feels like you hope and you're wishing that they can get in just to, like I said, who cares if they get swept in the next round 4-0? You get those guys who are going to be on the team next year to get them experience. And like I said in the chat, I was just like, I don't know why I got kind of caught up on the Bulls hype too, just because of how they finished in the season. I think it was that Lakers game when that Josh Giddey.
Oh, that was an all-time moment. That was an all-time moment.
They're trending. I was like, maybe they're just trending in the right direction because they're getting good juju. But it's like, man, you saw Tyler Hero just locked in. It's like, yeah, man, he's been there before. Like Tyler Hero's not nervous in a play-in game, man. It's just he especially that, like we were talking about before the pod, he been through the fire, got to the NBA finals. Like he's a dude. So yeah, that was tough to watch. But yeah, like I said, with NBA playoffs that started, like I said, the people who are watching, just let you guys know we're talking about this in real time. Like I said, there are games going on, so some of the stuff might be dated, some of the takes may be dated. But P-Bush, what are some things you've been looking at NBA playoff wise early?
I mean, a couple quick things. I think Celtics and Cavs going to take care of business on the East side. That Pistons-Knicks series is pretty interesting, man. But I hate to say it. But that entire series is between two players right now, man. Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham. I mean, Cat has been he's been a little up and down, not too great. I mean, we saw an absolutely abysmal performance from Tim Hardaway Jr. in game 2, man. But it apparently didn't matter because Cade Cunningham just went absolutely off and finally did it efficiently. His first game 1 was a little iffy. They did blow that lead, which was crucial. That run by the Knicks at the end of game 1 was unbelievable. They really needed that, especially having home court advantage. You can't go back down. Obviously, knowing that was game 1 and they had a chance at game 2. But if they had not taken game 1, man, they'd be down 2-0 to a fresh, new, unexperienced playoff team. This is Cade Cunningham's first time, man. He hasn't even had a chance to play
right now. This is a coming out party.
His coming out party. I totally agree. And he took it seriously. He loved the big lights at the Garden. But, I think that one's going 7, and I do think the Pistons can pull that one out. If it does last that long, we'll probably be bleeding into next podcast, so I can dive into it a bit more there. But a couple other teams I've been impressed with, more so on the Western side. Obviously, Zoo mentioned that Clippers-Nuggets series, easily the best series in the playoffs that we've seen so far. Kawhi Leonard given a vintage – that might have been one of the most perfect shooting performances. I know he wasn't actually shooting perfect. I think he missed maybe 4 shots all game. But it looked like every time he put the ball up, he couldn't miss. And when he's locked in, the league needs to be put on notice because he has carried teams individually with decent teammates throughout his career, obviously with the Spurs, and then we saw what he did with the Raptors and what he could have been doing with the Clippers had he stayed healthy. But I think this pairing with James Harden has just been immaculate. I know he had a tough start in Game 2. He really pulled it together. Missed my parlay by 1 Harden assist, man. Couldn't believe it for all the times Kawhi scored. Come on, man. Couldn't believe it. But Zoo, I know we talked about this, man.
Yep.
Jokic, he's going to get his. But if you can annoy him even just a little bit, take away some offensive rebounding away from Jokic or giving your own self offensive rebounding and giving second possession chances, man, you're going to be in this series. And I got to give credit, and I think Stan Van Gundy said this during the game, but because of the NBA Cup, one of the new midseason things they're doing in the NBA, shout out Adam Silver, the 4 games that they faced off each other, 3 of them were in Denver. So that mile high, that change in the altitude did not affect the Clippers, man. They'd experienced it multiple times throughout the year. I love the depth. I forgot they had guys like Bogdan Bogdanovic, man. I mean, that guy was a stud in Atlanta for years.
Yeah,
he's a deep bench piece for a team that is probably one of the most well-balanced teams in the league. I said last week that I liked him in the series. I'm sticking with that. I do think it'll go 6 or 7, but they should be up 2-0 right now. The Los Angeles Clippers should be up 2-0 right now. Shout out Russell Westbrook, though. Russell Westbrook.
It's some big threes.
Some big threes. It's some big shots, big plays. Aaron Gordon with that missed dunk. He
that was embarrassing.
Russell Westbrook pretty much said, "You can take my choking abilities around the rim, man," and gave that off to Aaron Gordon. And that was a tough miss, man. Could have been a difference maker in the game. But that team, and then the last one I wanted to highlight, and then I'll leave the Lakers to you, Zoo. But the Warriors, man. A lot of people were like, "Oh, the Rockets, man, they're so good. Ime Udoka, what a great coach, man."
Yeah.
You don't bet against stars with experience and that veteran level of playoff experience in Game 1, man. I'm sorry. Maybe Udoka comes out and adjusts well. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry shot lights out in that game. Even Podziemski was playing relatively well. He kind of gives you that 14 to 15-point game. But I don't know, man. The Rockets, they don't have that go-to stud scorer who is guaranteed to give you a bucket. When Sengun is your leading scorer, I'm sorry, he might be a great center, but he ain't winning you a playoff series.
Yeah, Jalen Green needs to.
He needs to do more.
Something.
You said this last week, Sean. Van Vliet needs to actually be a factor as well. And I thought Eamon Thompson. I thought he.
I might have been wrong on that one.
Yeah,
I don't know about Van Vliet.
Yeah,
I'll give him time, but Game 1 didn't look promising.
I'm not saying but I'm saying it's not like he will, but he needs to, right? If they want to have a chance, he needs to be one of those guys hitting, a couple big shots here and there. We know he can do it, but maybe not anymore. So, yeah, I like a lot of, I think there's a bit more underdog play on the Western side when you look at seeding straight up. You got the Clippers, you got the Warriors, and you got the Timberwolves.
Like, since you left out with the Rockets, man, I got to go in on the Rockets. I know you mentioned Fred VanVleet. As a guy I've said of not liking undersized, chubby point guards that shoot low percentages, this is what that brother did. 21% from the field. He was chucking off bricks. He shot 2 for 13 from the 3-point line. 15%. He shot 15%. He shot 13 threes. You're not Steph Curry. He's on the other side of the court. He shot 13 threes, and you only made 2 of them. 10.7 assists as your veteran point guard, who's the guy has to settle the young kids out, and he's the big veteran they brought in to be kind of like the mentor guy.
Mike Conley, but younger.
He ain't Mike Conley, Mike.
Exactly.
Mike Conley's efficient.
Exactly.
Fred VanVleet is a career. He shoots 37% from the field. He did that in the regular season. In the playoffs, he elevated to 21%. So, the Rockets ain't going to do nothing if VanVleet's their point guard. They got a kid in Reed Shepherd, who I'm very, very high on, and they need to give him an opportunity. because he's just in the G League. Like they're kind of not really using.
He
him
didn't play a lot in the league.
Yeah, he barely played because they have this guard rotation, and they gave all this money to Van Fleet. I guess he's a veteran leader. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You could be a veteran leader off the bench, please, because 21% from the field.
Unacceptable.
While you're playing against a guy like Steph Curry, who hits some of the most insane shots I've ever seen. Like some of those shots, the geometry didn't even make sense with the arc on some of those 3-point shots. Because like Steph Curry right now on the other side, he's still in his prime, which is crazy to say because he's like 37 years old. He's still in his prime right now because he is physical. He doesn't get like hurt by physicality anymore. That's one thing. In his younger days, he got affected by physicality, but now he's the guy that's dominating and he's shooting against an elite defense. I'm talking about the Thompson guy. He's a really good defense. Like Dylan Brooks, Thompson, Van Fleet. These are all very physical, like Tari Eason. These are very physical defenders. And Steph Curry looked like Chef Curry, and Jimmy Buckets is still playoff Jimmy because him and Curry right now is just a perfect fit. Like those guys play perfectly off each other. Very different style players, but yeah, like that series, I actually do like the Rockets to give them like a tough series just because of the physicality and defense. Because that defense is elite, but the offense for me is just like, yeah, as you mentioned, Sengun's your leading scorer with 20 points. Like any guy. And Jalen Green just absolutely doing nothing. Like I see this dude like on my TV and his freaking Wings commercials that on the court right now because Jalen Green ain't doing nothing right now. Like Jesus Christ, you getting these commercials in prime time. You got to show up in the playoffs, and he has not shown up in the playoffs at all in the first game so far. So he got an opportunity to redeem himself. But right now, like Jalen Green, nah. He's been awful. Speaking about a team that needs to redeem themselves, the Los Angeles Lakers. Like obviously, this is a series that in the beginning of this year, I had the Lakers in 5 or 6. So that was my initial prediction. After that game 1, I'm like, ooh, geez, okay. The defense was kind of interesting. JJ Redick went with let's just give him 3-pointers. Let's just give him 3-pointers. Like, obviously, the Lakers' size. We all knew they had no size at the center position. Like, Jackson Hayes barely played, and he's, like, their only true center on the roster. They don't really even, like, Alex Len, stop it. Like, they don't really have a true center, NBA caliber center. NBA caliber center. Like, Jackson Hayes is the one guy, and that dude's a bench dude. So, clearly, against a team with a lot of bigs, and a lot of bigs that can shoot, especially
Julius Randle.
Yeah, Julius Randle. You know my thoughts about Julius.
I don't know if
playoff Julius. Like
everybody else, I'm scared. Julius Randle, I hope he keeps playing that well because he'll shoot them out of the game.
He jacks some more middies and 3-point shot. That's a beautiful thing. If he hits that first 3-point shot, hallelujah. He's gonna get that confidence, take some bad shots.
It's like Cat. He is Cat.
No. I'm gonna give Cat is better than
on the confidence freeze. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. When Cat gets his confidence, it's definitely in the first quarter. Yeah. But Julius Randle's the last guy I'm worried about on this roster because right now, Ant Edwards right now, we're gonna see a little playmaking ability right now. That's what I'm okay. This is the next step, Ant. If they're gonna be blitzing you, you got to be able to pass it to shooters, and pretty much their shooters got it done. Well, you hit 23 pointers. You got McDaniels looking great again in the playoffs. Like this guy's his definition of 3-and-D. DiVincenzo, like the thing is, the Timberwolves are not that great of a 3-point shooting team, but they went off against this Lakers roster just because of their game plan. Pretty much, we don't really fear this team as a 3-point shooter. We're going to try to stuff the paint because we don't really have a true rim protector. So, like obviously, like the rim protector is a huge weakness on this Lakers roster. They have to use 6'9", 6'8" guys as switchable wings to pretty much guard this roster right now. But I ain't worried at all right now. I ain't worried about the Lakers of getting it done because, man, dude, LeBron James game 1. We all know the history of LeBron. There's just something about this guy doesn't really try. He was not aggressive. That's one thing. Like LeBron James, when he's not aggressive, he's kind of just not that great of a player. But when he flips on the switch, okay, time to be aggressive because he cannot go down 0-2 at home.
He's not 30 anymore, man.
And I don't care if he's not 30 no more. I don't care if he's not 30 anymore. A LeBron 40 is any other player's 30. That's what LeBron James
or
is.
31.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now. he's going to come up aggressive this game because I think he knows with his playoff experience that going down 0-2 at home, that's a death knell sentence. Like,
it's embarrassing.
It is very embarrassing, and I feel like a coach in JJ Redick, who's actually intelligent, will make some adjustments in this game as far as making some strategic adjustments with his roster. I feel like Luka Doncic, obviously, he did all he could do, but hopefully he creates some more for his teammates, and hopefully his teammates can step up and hit some big 3-point shots for him. So for me personally, this game, I ain't worried at all about the Lakers. Wow. I ain't worried about the Lakers. Like, they had 23s. They had 23s. Good for them. Nas, Reed, Daniels hitting that like 10 plus threes together. Good luck.
And if the Wolves do it again, I mean, if they do it again, then it's like, hey.
If they do it again, good on them. They deserve to win the game.
This wasn't like a 3-point game. This wasn't I know. I get it. 23s, that's fine. The average that a team hits that's a decent 3-point is probably 14 or 15.
I'm telling you, we're going to see some adjustments in this game. That's the thing.
Okay.
I'm a little worried if they play them again and they don't look that good. Okay. But
then I'll do the war.
Game one, you feel them out, make some adjustments in game two.
Like, how do you think they better play them defensively?
Better play them. You know what they got to do?
Who?
They got to double team more, but make Rudy Gobert play.
With who?
Yeah. Rudy, I'm telling you, get the ball to Rudy and make them force the ball to pass to the Rudy.
If anybody's getting Rudy the ball, then I mean,
that's not that. Make Rudy a passer.
They're not going to be able to do that.
Make Rudy touch the ball more on offense because he is a 0 on offense.
But they won't play him.
That obvious. If it's that obvious, this guy's been in the league for how many years? Rudy Gobert, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
If it's that obvious, JJ Redick is such a good coach. Why didn't he think of that in the first place? Every team that has ever played the Utah Jazz, the Minnesota Timberwolves, whatever team he's been on, everyone has always played him that way. If you didn't realize that going into this series, come on. You got to let Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert beat you. Those are the only two guys that because McDaniels can hold his own. He proved that last year, and he's elevated going into this year. Anthony Edwards, don't even need to make comments there. To your point, Zoo, I agree. If you're going to double team him, then you're going to leave the Randle
beat you.
Right, Julius Randle, that's fine. But I think with Julius Randle, the big thing is I was surprised at the number of shots he took. I think they're keeping him in.
It's also his former team.
It's also his former team, so he's a bit more motivated, which has kind of always been his issue. I'm not saying that the Lakers are going to get swept. I don't think it's going to go 5. This is a 6 or 7 game series, in my opinion. I have the Timberwolves taking it in the end, but it's more so not because I think the Timberwolves are going to continue to shoot 40 to 50% from 3. It's that I don't think the Lakers can make defensive changes that will really swing this series. They're just going to have to outshoot the Timberwolves, and that's possible. They are a better 3-point shooting team overall, right, compared to the Timberwolves. Yeah. But if LeBron James is taking 18 shots and he's only making 8, if you don't call that aggressive at his age, I don't know what else to say.
No, that's not aggressive. It's not aggressive.
Shots is he taking?
I need 20.
He was too short. Okay. He was too short.
Also needs to probably be
high attempts, man. I need him to be more just assertive. Like
the type of shots.
Like, not aggressive.
If it's 18 shots of him making threes and stuff, then I'm not, or not threes, but like mid range and threes. And no, I know what you're talking about. Stop shots.
I need him to be dominating the paint because he's a slasher. I need him as a power forward. I need him to be aggressive this series. Not selling. Let Luka take his step back threes. He's great at those. But I need LeBron James in his power forward mind. I want to see 28 and 10 rebounds. I don't really care about the assists. I need him to be aggressive because he's the number 2 option. So he got a little rest on offense now.
They're going to need to get assists from someone because pretty
sure that's Luka. That's still Luka.
1? How many did he have last game?
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't think he had. He maybe had like.
Look, they need a pass because you're scoring so easily.
I agree. Yeah,
it wasn't a lot,
and it didn't matter. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see outside of if all 3 of them need to have good games. Reeves, LeBron.
Well, you're gonna need your stars, and that's why I said with Reeves. I said it before the pod. I think Reeves is a little bit more concerning because they're gonna attack Reeves, and we all know defense. Like none of those guys, Luka, LeBron, shit, like LeBron, Reeves. I mean, your defensive guys are Vincent and Vanderbilt. So it's like you're gonna have to figure out on the offensive side. To your point, they're gonna have to shoot, make shots. Like it's really like I think it's like to Zoo's point. If you lose, I mean, but the thing is with the Lakers is they have shown they showed when they got Luka. They showed they can play defense. And the thing about them being, I think there's just this matchup, like I said, that's why I said before the pod, I think the Warriors, if they would have got them in that matchup, is a better matchup because with the Wolves, they are big on the inside in terms of Naz Reid, who's a underrated big. Rudy Gobert, you can kind of play him off the floor, but they have size in that space. Jalen McDaniels, he's another guy. And Anthony Edwards is not small. So it's like they kind of match up with the Lakers well. But the Lakers did show during the season like they were a good defensive team. And the Lakers are not small. They're just small at center. Like everybody else on this, like Rui, all those guys, they're big guys. So I think the size thing is a little bit overstated. It's just with this team, like you said, it's to me, the series is going to be Naz Reid and Jalen McDaniels. If they continue to play out of their minds, the Lakers are going home. If Naz Reid and them don't play out of their mind and it becomes an Anthony Edwards show, like, well, then I think the Lakers have a chance. But to your point, Anthony Edwards sent Kevin Durant home last night. He's not scared last year. Like, he sent Kevin Durant and Devin Booker home. Swept them. So it can happen. It's just, I think most people are probably not panicking because, like I said, the threes combined with it's game one. Now, if they come out game two and lose, then yeah, it's a panic. But then, I would be panicked, but I wouldn't be shocked the Lakers came back because they still got Luka, and we know what Luka does.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
okay.
I think,
I smell a wager right now.
Mm-hmm.
I smell a potential double wager. Tonight's game and the series.
Yeah, just the series.
Just the series?
$20.
$20. Lakers. I'll pick the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, for tonight or the series?
Series.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
Okay. LeBron. Okay, you gotta show me something.
LeBron's here,
I know you gotta show me something. Don't make me look like a fool right now. Don't make me look like a fool. I respect the T-Wolves, but losing the Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert as a front court, that's just embarrassing. That's just embarrassing, man. Like, come on.
Outside of their big three, though, the rest of that team, Rui Hachimura,
they're all role players. They play their role. You don't need a bunch of headline name as your role players. You have your 2 stars and you got your role players, man. That's how most rosters are built.
Like
that's good for me.
Yeah.
Okay, don't compare this team to the Suns.
The Sun.
No, don't compare. Don't compare.
Their role players are a little.
Or Devin Booker.
No, that's definitely not going to happen.
Don't compare those guys.
Don't even get me started on KD. I don't want to. I'm sick of hearing his mouth. He does his. This is a side. I don't want to hear Kevin Durant's mouth or name near LeBron, Steph. Nothing. He's nowhere near, nowhere closer. Will never be. I don't want to hear that no more with him. I'm done with KD. I'm just sick of I'm sick of the I just ball. Like, be a leader. Like, be a leader. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that. Man. That's why if I'm Devin Booker, get me the hell out of it. Hey, if I'm Devin Booker, I'm watching Detroit versus the Knicks and be like, I think I would fit really nice with the Detroit Pistons. I think I actually
he would. Oh, he would. He would.
And he's from Michigan. Or he grew up in Mississippi, but his dad, whatever, he's there.
I gotta say something about the Pistons right now, because this is a team that plays with ridiculous physicality. This is like that 80s, 90s physicality with their dudes, and they're freaking bumping. They're playing hard, fighting through screens, making it tough for this Knicks team to score the basketball. And right now, I am just blown away how well their role players are playing. Because right now, like Cade Cunningham, he's a star. He's playing like a star right now. The Knicks right now, obviously, it's kind of the Jalen Brunson show. Like,
that's it.
I'm pretty, it just makes me see that ceiling with that Knicks team. Because if you watch their offense, it's the most predictable offense I've ever seen. It's not like this team is lacking good offensive players. You have a stretch 5 in Cat, who's one of the best shooting centers of all time. Oh, yeah, I won't get in on
old Tom.
Good old OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, two pretty much 3-and-D wings. You got a hustle guy in Josh Hart. You got good role players off the bench with Mitchell Robinson, like McBride. Like, they got a really good roster. But Thibodeau is like, as a Chicago Bulls fan, I'm watching this dude, and the dude, it's 20 years later, and he's doing the same exact thing. He just rides his point guards and be like, okay, isolation every single time. Jalen Brunson post up. Jalen Brunson step back 3. Jalen Brunson. Like, every single time you watch, like, bet the over on Jalen Brunson because he takes like 25 shots a game in the playoffs. Like, if you watch this game, I'm like, is Karl-Anthony Towns even out there? Like, he's a good player. They did no post-ups, and they put a small forward on him, Tobias Harris. I don't think that's the greatest post-up player, but he's actually good at driving. He's one of the rare bigs. He's a really good face-up center guy. He could drive. He's good at driving. He could hit middies too. Like Karl-Anthony Towns is a really good offensive player, but they just go do this stagnant offense where the point guard just has to take pretty much it's very AI-esque where it just dribble, step back. Like Brunson's really good, but you're gonna burn him out, ask him to drop 37 a game. And like you have really nice offensive players on this roster that you're not fully utilizing. Like Tom Thibodeau might be a defensive guru, and I don't know.
You know who they need?
Better defense, but their offense is an atrocity.
Mike
D'Antonio might have been a better fit as a head coach. Like, yeah, I said D'Antonio. I think just as an offensive centric to your point about getting more players involved. Yeah. Because Mikal Bridges looks like
they should hire Mike Malone.
Role player. Like he does for what they gave up for him, he's not delivering on the goods of that. And maybe that is offensive scheme to your point.
It's I'm like, if you watch offensive scheme, it is very just Brunson high pick and roll, Brunson isolation, just Brunson, just in these plays. It's no creativity.
Yeah.
There's no guys running off, no guys cutting. It's just sitting around and watching the Jalen Brunson show, which is awesome because he's very good at doing that. But it's very Luka-centric in the way that James Harden like isolation ball. But the dude is 6'2".
Heliocentric, some might say.
Okay. No. Okay. Yeah, it is heliocentric. But the dude is a 6'2" point guard.
Yeah.
That's the difference. When you're bigger, you get away with that a little more easier. But as Jalen Brunson, like obviously we see him like this might cause an injury just based on the physical style of this continuous ramping up. Like Brunson's averaging 35, 36 a game in this series. Like, how much more can you ask this guy to score more points? And this is just the Detroit Pistons right now. Like, good Lord, against the next round, against if you make it past against the Celtics, a team that's just the definition of team scoring. Like, it's not sustainable. And I feel like Tom Thibodeau learned nothing from his year off of.
He's stubborn.
He's very stubborn in his way. Is all like grinding, physicality. I'm like, dude, like, he needs to hire someone to assist in his offense because his offense is a joke. It's what I do in NBA 2K isolation. I pick a roll every single play and taking step back threes. It's not a creative offense.
No,
it's really bad.
Unless he has to make the finals for me not to move on.
Yeah,
because the conference finals, that's not going to do it enough because people going to think, oh, we're this close.
I think they need to fire him.
Injuries happen. Yeah.
No matter what they finish. Ceiling. We've seen it year over year.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen him at that ceiling. Like, he's a really good coach in the regular season. But in the playoffs, like, I need more creativity, especially on offense, especially when your guys are pushed to the limits in the regular season. Like, in the playoffs, there's no extra gas. Like, a guy like Josh Hart, that guy plays at 100 miles per hour every single game.
What'd you say,
like
people?
What?
Just like his mentor, Doc Rivers, man. Not much different.
Oh, man.
Neither of them have done anything since 2008.
You're right. They are spitting it. The only difference is Tom Thibodeau doesn't have the playoff failures in terms of like the comebacks and all that type of stuff. But Thibodeau and him are one and the same.
Hey,
they're one and the same.
Not giving Doc credit for winning 3 games in the series.
He's saving his bacon. The Boston Celtics just gave Doc Rivers and I know he was the coach when they won, but that is just the ultimate get out of jail free card because without that, you're looking at him as one of the most overrated coaches ever. That freaking title is saving his resume because
that's also
it's unbelievable.
He got more jobs though too. To be fair.
That too.
That's why he got.
I also think. You say that, but I also think Doc is one of those guys that when he walks in the room, people love him.
Buddy.
He's got the personality, the charisma. Yeah. That's what it is. And I think in the NBA more than any other professional league, that matters the most. Do the NBA players like you? And especially the superstar guys. And a lot of the superstar guys respect Doc for some reason. Like all of them love him. So he's going to continue to get jobs. So that matters. But so, that is a factor. But I want to ask a quick question. Who's the best player in that Knicks Piston series?
Probably Brunson.
I think Brunson right now, but Cade Cunningham, this dude, have an argument. We're seeing that Luka Doncic potential that we were talking about in the draft a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That 6'6" long point guard who can control the pace of the game. He has a really good post-up game. He added that this year, and he's been doing that against the smaller point guards in the league. And obviously, like the thing is, his 3-point shot hasn't even been falling in the playoffs yet. Like the 3-point shot has been kind of like a non-factor right now.
Matter.
But dude, right now is averaging 27, 8, and 9 on 45% shooting. Like the dude's absolutely balling right now. You got to keep down the turnovers lower because right now, like you don't want to be giving the Knicks extra possessions right now because he's the primary ball handler and scorer. Like he's in that do it all play style. Like Cade Cunningham is the offense because he's rocking with just veteran role players, like really nice, complimentary. That guy's the most streaky shooter ever. But you got Beasley, Tobias Harris in his role is doing pretty well. Jalen Duren as the rim runner, the center rim runner, and alley-oop threat and blocker. Like it's the Cade Cunningham show. So he could potentially outplay Brunson, but the way Brunson, like that guy's going to score at a 30-point level. Like that's what Brunson does in the playoffs. So Cade Cunningham is close in there, but yeah, I'm gonna still give the edge to Brunson. But to Cade could win this series.
Cade looked really good in that game too. That's why I was like,
Cade could win this series. Like they could be up 2-0 right now. They could be up 2-0 right now.
And Thibodeau loses this series.
Oh, yeah.
It's not on Brunson and it's not on Cat because Cat, like if they're not running,
they gotta give him the ball. He's the center. You have to call plays for a center. You can't be like Cat ain't gonna bring the ball up and create his own shot. You have to call plays for him. So they got to give him the ball more because 10 points from Karl Anthony Towns, that's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. OG. It's I don't care. Like if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm not. But if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm just kind of playing out the string. Like I maybe want to beat the Pistons because you just maybe want to have a big brother little brother situation. Like not yet, but after that, like we kind of know they're capped out, and the coaching change needs to come. And to the point of whoever they hire next is probably going to be a coach who can accentuate all of the other guys. Because like I said, when I was watching those 2 games with the Knicks and the Pistons, I was like, oh yeah, Pistons should be up 2-0. Dude, so I don't know. I think Cade has the potential to be great. Go ahead. What you said?
And Bridges has scored 20 points a game in the league, man. Like do something. I don't like. Yeah. They're neglecting their entire roster except for Brunson.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Especially at the end of the game. Because if you watch the end of the game, it is very predictable. Like very like it's
Brunson isolation. And I'm gonna say this about Brunson. Great score, but we need to give him the same energy we give Harden in terms of his foul baiting.
Oh yeah, he has the foul.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
Like and he does that because he's a smaller guard, and if he's going against a bigger guard or a bigger big, he's doing now he's not doing the same tactic or movement that Harden does to foul bait, and Shea does it too, but Brunson does a lot of head. He does it more with his head, like he's like breaking his neck.
He planes it.
And it's just like, man, we get it. Like we get it. So and maybe that contributes to why he maybe gets injured because he's doing too much of that foul bait. So I don't know. I think the Knicks are very fortunate that this is 1-1, and we'll see how that series goes. But Cade, I think, has a lot of potential. Personally, man, it's even just looking at the score now. I just hate for Giannis that. It feels like it just is not going to ever fall in his favor. Now, I know it's 2-0 potentially with the Pacers, and those 2 games were at home. So now that Giannis gets to go home and Dame has a game under his belt, and like I said, I don't know, this game might not be over, but I'm thinking to myself, like, obviously it would be a do-or-die game for Game 3 if they're down 2-0. And then, if they don't get that game, it's just another series. Because the thing about Indiana is, as much as we think Tyrese Halliburton is obviously their best player, we got to give them credit. They are a well-built team, and they have a lot of guys who play their roles well.
Players. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they play their roles well.
They're a younger version of the Clippers.
Yeah.
In depth and like just well-roundedness.
Depth, yeah. And, that in these first and second rounds, those are you can get away and win some series that way if you have guys built like that. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, it just sucks for Giannis because, like I said, I was personally just wanting to see him get to the next round and maybe probably face the Cavs because I think the Cavs are going to beat the Heat. Got to give some love to my Magic. They fought in the first half at least.
Dude,
Franz Wagner looked really, really good. Really, really, really good. Paolo played well. Jonathan Isaac was disruptive. Like,
dude, they took 60% of the shots. 51 out of 81 were taken by Paolo and Franz. They hit 48%.
They're your
the rest
dudes.
of the team, 10 of 30.
They're your dudes.
The rest of the team.
It just goes to my theory. Like, if I'm Devin Booker, I'm looking at these playoffs and I'm looking at rosters and situations and like, I know I've been loyal to Phoenix and I know they want to trade Kevin Durant. I know they do. But I might want to get with my agency and be like, well, if you want to send KD out the door, let me go somewhere else. And I'm looking at a place like Detroit. I'm looking at a place like Orlando. Like now with Orlando, that would be tough because it's going to cut into their depth. They're probably going to lose Suggs and a couple other guys. But like you just see like in terms of these moments that are in the playoffs and you see what the deficiencies are. It's obvious with Orlando. It's kind of like what Suns. It's kind of like what the Suns this year, what Bradley Beal thought he would bring as a third level or third option secondary scorer that can make shots and make whoever the third team defender is life hell. Like Devin Booker could do that. Now, it's always easy to mix and match these guys and think like everything's going to plug in and be perfect. And we all know that doesn't work. But sometimes it's just you're watching this stuff and it's like, man, I think he would be a really good fit there. But it's obvious with Orlando. And along, Jalen Suggs not being there also hurts because he's their kind of their anchor, especially at the perimeter, on the perimeter in terms of being their defensive anchor.
He's a good shooter.
Huge thing. Now, Anthony Black has played well, better than I thought he would play, but he's still relatively young. So, like I said, I think I said before the series, I think the Orlando Magic could maybe get one game or make it competitive. But like I said, that series is probably going to go 5. Would be shocked if it went 6. But like I said, I love Paolo and Franz, and they at least in that first half look pretty good. Like I said, Cleveland, Miami, whatever. Like I said, Steph and Golden State, playoff Jimmy showed up. I'm gonna give the Rockets one more game. It's kind of like how I'm looking at Minnesota,
they can beat them.
LA.
They can win a couple games
because they came back in that second half, and it was
crazy. It was a one
heroic
game.
Like it was crazy. Like Steph showed he was Steph, but if you're Houston, you're probably thinking like, I
feel pretty good.
You're thinking like, could Steph do this 3 more times? Maybe. But the chances of him doing that 3 more times and having those crazy shots is kind of low. So maybe we can get this game at home, but they need to get this game at home because they go straight down 0-2. Yeah, they do. They do. But that's kind of I'm gonna put it this way: if out of all the teams that are underdogs in the West, like Timberwolves are obviously number 1 because Ant has proven that he could like that run last year. You got to give him that respect. So they're obviously number 1. But I would put Houston.
Yeah, he beat Kevin Durant, Booker, and Jokic. Like. That was a hell of a run.
Yeah, that run alone.
Next, baby. Let's go. Come on.
You're just collecting Hall of Famers, man.
He's got to get revenge on Luka, man. You got to remember, Luka got him last year.
Luka did get him. I forget. Yeah, they did. That was conference finals, wasn't there? Yeah. That was.
He took it personally, man.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, I think I would rank that like Minnesota, obviously, with Ant number 1. But like I give Houston a chance. Like I like how they fought back at least, and a lot of that too might just be, and Van Vliet aside, like cut down on your shot attempts. But I got to give Ime a little bit more of a chance than maybe just because I think he's a good coach. So he is going against Kerr, is also a good coach. But like I said, a lot of this with the playoffs, it comes down to stars and who's playing well and who. Obviously, John Morant's a star, but they don't have a chance against OKC. But that aside, I do think a lot of these matchups and stuff like that is just going to be down to who's shooting the best and which stars are going to show up. It's kind of what it is. Like you said, you saw it in the not Memphis, but Houston and Golden State. Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler showed up.
Yep.
Lakers and Timberwolves, like Anthony Edwards was good, but Luka and LeBron have to play well. And then, like I said, with Reeves, if he wants to consider himself as like an all-star fringe guy, you're going to have to show up in the playoffs. Same thing with New York. Like Jalen Brunson's their guy, but Mikal Bridges is not an all-star, but we're going to need a little bit more from you. And you can't just be I'm just going to shoot the corner 3 and run around. Like, no, we need you to maybe create a little bit. We're going to need you maybe finish at the rim. We're going to need a little bit more because Jalen Brunson chucking as an ISO guy is not going to win them that series. So a lot of this stuff is just going to come down. Obviously, like the 1-8 matchups are kind of just going to go the way they go, but with like the 2-7 and 4-5s, whatever, it all depends. We'll see. Like I said, personally, I want to see certain guys. But go ahead.
Yeah, especially when you mentioned like matchups, right? Like this Houston team, they're big. They're just way bigger. And Steven Adams is a guy that a lot of people forget about. Steven Adams. He still has a lot of juice left after his injury.
12 rebounds.
Dude, 5 offensive. That's the thing. He is one of the greatest offensive rebounders of all time.
Yep.
And that's like the only way this Rockets team has a chance of being a star-studded Warriors team because you got Draymond. Like Draymond's a great defender, but he's 6'6". Like he's 6'6". You got guys in Sengun and Steven Adams who just built like monster trucks out there we could bang down low and get.
And Shagun got one on Draymond. He got one on Draymond.
He posterized
He got one on him.
Like they don't like each other. They don't like each other. Like
good.
Steven Adams don't like Draymond either because you remember he kicked him that nuts one time, man.
He kicked him in a private.
Too fraternal nowadays, man. We need to bring back the hatred for each other sometimes.
That's why Pistons is such a good series because I think that could be a natural rivalry going on further down the road. And Bucks and Pacers is kind of like a rivalry because of Tyrese came. They don't like each other. Yeah, it's a little bit of that. So yeah, this NBA playoffs is off to a good start, and we'll see how these teams shape out. But like I was saying before the pod, I kind of, because it's just my algorithms, man. It's just been showing me a lot of NBA content, a lot of different other interviews and stuff like that. Drafts in a couple of days. So NFL draft, if you guys are wondering. And a lot of people have kind of considered and kind of put it in. Let's just say pin that Cam Ward's probably going to be the number one pick, but there's going to be a lot of other different scenarios that could happen within the draft, like always, with trades and different things like that. So I asked the guys to pick a team in the first round that they would love to, I guess, be a mock GM for the day or night or whenever. I think the draft's at night on Thursday, but for the night and to, maybe picture where they could see their team going. And I'll go ahead and let Peebush start this because I think we all obviously know where he's going and what he would like to see his Chicago Bears do.
Absolutely, man. It is the final moment of the offseason before we get to see what Ben Johnson can do with this newly built team. Man, it comes down to a couple needs, man. I mean, they have a lot of people keep talking Ashton Jeanty. This is one of the deepest running back classes we've had in years. I'm fine not spending a top 10 pick on a running back. The difference between him and some of the guys that could go later first round, early second round, it might seem it, but he was playing at Boise State, man. I'm very sorry. I mean, you had running backs going up against a lot better competition, tougher defenses. I like a guy out of Iowa, Caleb Johnson. I think he's a great power running back with good catchability. Played in the Big Ten, tough defenses that he had to go up against week in and week out. But he's going in the second round. So that's one need that the Bears, they got to go. DeAndre Swift is not the long-term answer. He's a good complementary back. We saw what he did in Detroit in that sense. We've seen him be decent in Chicago, a little bit in the receiving game with Caleb Williams, but they need a true bruiser to complement. And I think that they do that in the second round. So I'm kind of moving off that need. Then you come down to like offensive tackle. They shored up their interior line, man. They were busy. They were the busiest team in free agency. They got 2 guards. They got the premier center. They already have their right tackle in Darnell Wright, very much an up-and-coming tackle, probably top 10 right tackle in the league. Then you got left tackle with Braxton Jones, man. He's entering a contract year. If Will Campbell or Membo are there at 10, I think they take one of those 2 guys. Because even if Braxton, he's had injury issues, but once again, he's in a contract year. He's going to be asking for money sooner than if you take a top 10 potential tackle. The only issue is I think both the Patriots and the Jets both need a tackle desperately. And I think that both of those guys are off the board. And Sean, I've heard you talk about Kelvin Banks a couple times over the last few months. Tackle. I'm a little iffy on him. I think he might fall. I don't think he's worth the 10th overall pick. Maybe you trade back and take him. But at that point, I think if those top 2 tackles are gone, you completely shift to the defensive line. They had horrible pressure on quarterbacks last year. Montez Sweat could not get anything going because they just double teamed him the whole time. And then you bring in Dio. I think he's from the Colts. It could be butchering that. I'm not even going to try his last name right now. I don't even have it in front of me. But he's a younger rush guy. And then you brought in Grady Jarrett, who's more of an interior guy, but he's 30, 31 years old. I think you got to go edge. Personally, I mean, obviously, if they could get Mason Graham as the interior tackle, I don't mind that at all. He's got enough.
I think he's gone
power, but he's going to be gone top 5. So maybe they trade up for him. I doubt it. But if you're looking at the edge, man, you got Shamar Stewart, or you could trade back a few spots and go with Mikael Williams or Mike Green, maybe even back to like that 13 to 15 range. But I think the Bears are just at a point where they're just kind of seeing who's going to be drafted in front of them, and they're going to take the best available guy that's on their board. The only one that I don't 100% agree with is drafting Tyler Warren.
I don't get that either, and that's been on a lot of boards.
So many mock drafts.
Is he that good? They're like hyping.
He's really good, but
he's really good.
Really
next great tight end.
Yeah, he is, but he's not good. Brock Bowers. He's not worth a Brock Bowers level pick. He's probably more so like a 15th overall, something like that. I mean, he's a great player. They have Cole Kmet. He's not a bum.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not a bum, and
He's
I get
good
they're
enough.
trying to find the next Sam Laporta. Okay, great, congratulations, man. Sam Laporta, he's been up and down, man. Let's just be completely honest. He's a red zone touchdown dependent guy. He's not Brock Bowers, who's getting 10 catches for 120 yards. I'm sorry. He's a touchdown dependent guy. You already have one of those in Cole Kmet. And I'd actually argue that Cole Kmet is as athletic as Sam Laporta is, right? There's only so many Brock Bowers that exist in the world, let alone in this draft. So I don't like taking Tyler Warren. Hell, if you want to trade back to the mid-20s and take him, he's not going to be there. Or take Colston Loveland if you think the offensive firepower isn't there. If you're going to spend on the offense, it's got to be tackle or it's got to be running back. But I think they have 3 top 40 picks, man. They can address all 3 of those with those picks and get a great running back in the second round. If they take a tackle in the first round, they take an edge in the second, or vice versa. It's really they kind of have all the chips in front of them. They just got to make sure they make the right pick, and I think that's always been the issue, especially as Ryan Pace. If it's me, I'm probably playing the safer bet with the offensive tackle position if there is one available. But if it's only Banks, I'm passing.
So you're thinking the Bears not going to go sexy with the skill position.
They're going to go interior. They're going to go line. One of the two.
I don't know. I hear some rumors. I don't know if these are some fake rumors, but there's a lot of Genty to the Bears. I don't know if that's just noise or something.
It's too much noise.
There's too much noise about that.
I think he's gone. I think the Jags take him or the Raiders.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. Maybe Saquon just got all these running back stock go up just a little more. A little more. Looking for their Saquon Barkley to elevate that offensive line offense to another level. Because
Saquon played at Penn State, though, not Boise State. Let's clear that up real quick.
Okay. No, not wanting Jenting. Very interesting. Very interesting. For me personally, looking at this draft, there's a lot of teams that lack a quarterback in the hype, but there's a lot of noise that nobody wants Shador. There's a lot of we're not sure if he's that guy. Like, I have no idea if he's that guy. Because I just know about him because of his daddy's famous. Like, I don't know if Shador Sanders is that guy or he just has a famous dad that gave him the spotlight and he's a nice, maybe a little later on quarterback. But if you're looking at I'm looking at this right now. Cleveland Browns, New York Giants right now. You're on the clock right now. You're on the clock, and this might decide your entire football fate for the next decade plus. Because he might be a franchise quarterback that you let slip by, or you take him when he's a bust and you set your franchise back another 5 years because you got a guy in Travis Hunter right now where, this guy's that guy. Can play 2 sides of the ball. Pretty much, this guy's a unicorn. You don't think he's a unicorn?
I don't think in the NFL he can effectively. You have to become a master of your craft, man. He can't be a jack.
You don't think he play both sides?
That was Devin Hester. Devin Hester was I know he's better, but he's a cornerback wide receiver. That's what he was coming out of college as, and he played both, and he was a kick returner.
Really?
Hall of Famer,
I think if the team drafts him in the top 3, I think they're going to allow him to play both sides.
Well, he's trying.
Maybe he might specialize more on one side. But I feel like there's be specific possessions he could play on the other side of the ball. That'd be very interesting.
Some packages, yeah.
Exactly. Might not be an every possession type guy, but that's just very, very interesting.
Well, that's what he wants. He wants full time.
Exactly.
On both.
So, right now, the Cleveland Browns ownership group pretty much finally admitted, we got bamboozled. We swung, we missed. I'm like, I can't. We know that. We don't need you to tell us that. You definitely swung. It was the biggest miss in the history of football when you give a guy guaranteed money at 200 plus with allegations of sexual misconduct. Yeah, you swung and missed. Okay. And he barely a quarterback in the NFL right now. Okay. Now it's your chance of redemption because the NFL, when you stink, the NFL gives you a lifeline with these draft picks right now. There's no lottery, finicky odds. You're the second worst team in football. You have a chance to get a potential quarterback right now. And I don't know if Shadur's that guy. But they gotta do some analysis right now because they did some analysis on their previous acquisition. If it's the same group making another position and they whiff on another quarterback or pass on a guy that turns out to be a stud, man, everybody gone.
Sell the team.
Yeah, everybody gone, man. Nobody got jobs on that.
Haslam, whoever. Yeah. Sell it.
This is those opportunities where you got a second chance right now. And you got to make the best out of it because I know you gave Myles Garrett the big contract. I don't really know what this team's doing without a quarterback. I really don't. And if they truly believe that Shador's not that guy, then okay, then take the best player, the better quarterback. Because there's a lot of people in the top that don't have a quarterback. The New York Giants, they don't got no quarterback. Russell Wilson, he's a filler. he's an absolute filler. And you got a team that's actually stacked with talent, like Neighbors, like Tyron Chase. You got some nice skilled position guys where they got to give these guys a chance to succeed. So like I'm looking at this 2-3 spots really, really interesting.
Yeah,
because if they take a quarterback, then a Patriots can get like a guy like a Hunter to help out Drake May. So like, but personally, right now, I'm so curious what the Browns are going to do because I don't know. I don't really trust their scouting right now. That's all I got to say. I don't really trust that front office of getting the right guy. And Shador might not be the right guy at 2-3, and maybe he falls in a better situation in the later draft because we've seen a lot of quarterbacks that don't go super high, but fall in a way better situation and they thrive because they have exactly.
Bingo. That's where I would want to go if I was Shador.
Exactly. If I'm a quarterback, I want to go to the best franchise.
Yep.
Not the situation where you might get a little bigger bag in your first contract. But if it's so badly that franchise, you might not get a second contract. So that's just very, very interesting.
Brock Purdy's a perfect example of that, even though he was like Mr. Irrelevant or whatever. But he got drafted into the perfect situation, and now he's going to cash out because of it. He's going to cash out, regardless of what people feel about him in terms of a player. He's going to cash out because he played well and was given that opportunity. And like I said, with the NFL, man, there's not a lot of not great, but there's not a lot of like even just good quarterbacks. So if you can just stay healthy and be good for 2 to 3 years at your current team, you're going to get paid a bag because they just Geno Smith's another example of that. Went to Seattle, revived his career, played well with the weapons he had, Metcalf, Lockett. I forgot about him, and whatever. Smith and Jigba kind of later. But
it's happened for years.
He played well.
There's been plenty of quarterback. Carson Palmer did that with the Arizona Cardinals. He was a stud in Cincy, and then he really fell off. Kurt Warner went to a Super Bowl after bagging groceries, man. I mean, if you're a good quarterback, you're going to get a chance. The only thing I do think about the Browns, and I think this is a good point that Zhu brought up, they could be the team that takes Jackson Dart. I could see them being that team. I'm not saying
trade it back or something, or
trade back,
maybe in the second round, trade back in. I wouldn't trade back, but I would maybe if they have a second round pick, like maybe trade up in the second round or something.
I don't know.
Jackson,
there's just outside of Shador, it's
not a lot of
Dart, and then that's really it.
It's not really a lot of like. I love Shador.
I think the thing, to be honest,
next year. But Manning needs Manning. Yeah, they definitely gonna be there more than likely if I had to put money on it. But Manning needs to play though. Like,
yes,
I know he's got the last name, but if his name was Arch Johnson, people would not be throwing the hype. Like, he needs to play a full season. Like, I just need more. And the thing about college football I always keep going back to is like, man, as a quarterback, you need to have 2 to 3 years minimum, preferably 3 years of starting experience. I don't like you. Like, if Manning kills it this year and only has 1 full year of starting, like, that's a little scary because with quarterback, the more starts you have in college, the better you are. It's just that's what the stats say. But to your point, after Cam Ward, like I said, it's Shador, it's Jackson, and then it's kind of like, there's guys that are hyping up like Tyler Show from or Shoe, or whatever his name is, from Louisville because he's one of the best pure. It's the same stuff you every year with all these guys. They always pick an underdog guy that's in the mid round. They say, well, he's got this one elite trait, so a team may trade up for him. It's the same crap. Like, the only thing that concerns me about Shador is his athleticism is just a little frightening, considering like now in today's game, the elite quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks, and the good quarterbacks, all of them are pretty mobile. So like, the thing about Shador that people like is he's pinpoint and he's a good decision maker. So maybe that doesn't matter. And you can maybe point to someone like Jordan Love, who's not crazy athletic, and he's, been a pretty decent starter in the league. But that's the only thing with Shador that concerns me. But outside of that, like, he's got the confidence, he's got the ability to play, he's got the arm, talent. I don't want to say he's got the strongest arm, but he's got the talent. But yeah, a lot of people are sold on Cam Ward, and after that, they have the question about Shador, they have the question about Jackson Dart and whoever else is after him. Jalen Monroe. He's another guy. Like, he got invited to New York, so maybe there's been chatter about him going in the bottom of the first round. But yeah, if I'm Shador, I'm angling to get to I don't want to. I mean, competitively, you want to be number 2, but like if you're talking about draft fit and draft situations, like I kind of want to be with a franchise who knows what they're doing, and they have shown that over the years they can, like the Steelers, they can draft well at receiver, they can draft well in defense, they can protect you. Like, I just rather be with that organization.
Team. If Sanders lives up to and he just plays the game manager role,
and he would do that with the Steelers because that's what the Steelers. outside of Ben Roethlisberger, that's what every quarterback they had does. They game manage, and they somehow just always sneak into the playoffs, get blown out and get beat, but they sneak in somehow because they manage the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't go crazy. So maybe they have that
mentor. He'd be a good mentor, and I think Deion respects Tomlin enough to say that.
Great situation. So quarterback is always going to be interesting. Like I said, I talked about Milroe. It's interesting to see where he would go in terms of like fits, because like I said, he's the biggest boomer bust because of his athleticism. He's so freaking athletic that like when you watch, if you just have to go back, if you go back and watch the Alabama LSU game, he looks like the #1 overall pick. That game alone, when he played Alabama versus Georgia, that comeback, like that was the game. It's like, oh, like this looks like a guy who could take over the league. But then after that, you start watching the games post that legendary game, and he's just not as consistent as a passer. And it's just gonna be tough. And to me, it's gonna be like a lot of fit. Like I would actually love Milroe with the 49ers behind Brock, just to be, because I think Kyle Shanahan in his heart of hearts wants a guy. That's why he drafted Trey. I think he wants a guy who's athletic, really athletic at that position that could do a lot of RPO stuff. It's just with Brock, he just understands the system and plays it well enough. But I think in his heart of hearts, he maybe wants more of an athletic type of quarterback that could maybe be a game breaker. And maybe with the tutelage of Kyle Shanahan, maybe he gets there with Jalen Monroe. But looking at guys in the first round, like I'm with you people. Any of the backs in the first round that are going, I know Saquon went crazy and won a championship with the Eagles, but I think people are forgetting, even when Saquon came out in the draft, he's one of the one-of-one type of backs.
Yes.
Like him and Derrick Henry are legendary backs. Like they're not like, those guys that are doing all this, that are causing everybody to be like, oh, maybe the backs are getting a resurgence. Like, think about the backs we're talking about. We're not talking about like just pick a regular back that's an average back.
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, like we're not talking about a guy like that that's like, oh, he took the Carolina Panthers and made them into a playoff team because of his like the running back position is still the running back position, and overdrafting these guys over, like you say, a dominant defensive lineman or an elite tackle or shutdown corner. Like I still want those guys over the running back, no matter how good they were in college. And like with Ashton Genty, I think he's great. I think he's a really good back. I think he could come in day one and be awesome. But we're talking about skill sets and tiers. And even though this running back draft is great and it's deep, I don't see Saquon. I don't see Derrick Henry. I don't.
The drop off from Genty to the next guy is not as big as people say. I guess
it ain't.
That's all I'm saying.
Quinshaw Junkins, Travion here, like there's so many freaking
Amarian.
It's Amarian Hampton. It's so many guys, dude. Like even Rocket Sanders, who was a South Carolina back, and I know him. Like he's a 6 foot, 225 back who ran 4.5-ish, 4.4. Like can catch the like he's really good, and he's getting like 6th round love. Like he played in the SEC and proved it. 2 years in the SEC, destroyed the SEC. Like there's so many good backs. So to your point, I'm not drafting no back in the first round. If you do it, I feel like it's irresponsible. But somebody will do it. I'm looking at probably. I'm looking at, like I said, the Dallas Cowboys where they're picking. Are they going to be Matthew Golden played at Texas, who I love. He's my favorite receiver in the draft. Like I like him over the guy from Arizona. Are they going to get cute and draft a guy like that and just be like, look, we can, because you could make the argument like, hey, Dak coming back, whatever. You got CD. CD needs some pressure pulled off of him because if you get a guy like Matthew Golden, he can stretch the field. He's another explosive receiver that opens it up, that makes the offense more explosive. I get that point. But is Dallas going to be responsible and keep adding to the offensive line, to the defensive line, and keep making those units stronger? Because quiet is kept. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's like, hadn't been a lot of chatter around Micah and his extension and all that type of stuff. And I wonder, maybe they draft someone who's not Micah, but someone who could maybe be I guess you could say a replacement or someone who could play alongside him to bolster that defense. Maybe that's an avenue they go. But I always feel like Dallas is just the place of stars. That's what they love to do. They love to have the exciting offense. They could also be a possibility of, I know they not drafted, but they traded for Joe Milton. Maybe they trade back, get a quarterback or do something. I don't know. Like, because I've been seeing some rumors, like this is Twitter, obviously. This is not like founded rumors, but I've seen stuff about them maybe trading back and doing stuff with Jalen Monroe. because he's a Texas kid. He played at, I think it's Katy, Texas. He was like a state winning quarterback. A lot of chatter with that, like maybe having like an heir apparent. It's kind of hard to maybe feed into that rumor because they got Joe Milton, but I don't know. I think Dallas is just always a team that you look at and be like, okay, last year was unacceptable. Do I think they'll be that bad? No. But do I think they can win the division? No. So it's like, where are they at, and where are they at? Like, I know they still have Dak, but what is their thinking? How are they going to move? Because I think this is a critical year for a lot of guys. We're going to see the future of Micah, future of Dak, and if that gets shaky, guess who else is probably going to be wanting to ask out? CD.
Yep.
So
CD's gone.
I don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do at their position. But I'm with you with Tyler Warren. I hate the overdrafting and trying to think of a guy like Tyler, like who I think is a great player, but it's just offensive line, defensive line. That's where you should go.
Well, you
should
need
go that way for the Bears.
Always trenches.
Yeah. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong. Like, think about the guys who make not guys, but the teams that make Super Bowl. They all have elite offensive lines. They all have playmakers on defense. Like, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at the Eagles. Look at the guy at the Final Four. Like, even though Washington played them in over their head, like their defense played like I guess until they played the Eagles, but played like a Super Bowl winning defense. Lions had injuries, but all these teams that are the creme de la creme, they all have elite lines of scrimmage. That's just what it is. So you just keep drafting. Like Jeremiah Smith that plays for Ohio State. Oh, yeah. You'll spend a top 5 pick on him. But like, if it's not a guy in that caliber or like a Travis Hunter, just keep drafting linemen. Because there's nothing wrong with having deep defensive lines and offensive line. They don't really sub as much. But especially on the defensive line, when you just have a lot of dudes in that position, you're just by default going to be better than a lot of teams because you just have dudes that can come in waves when they're tired and just affect the passer. Like you said, everybody needs a guy that can get after the passer. That's why I think with like Cleveland, I know Travis Hunter is like the popular pick, but man, if they were to get like an Abdul Carter and put him alongside Miles, my God. Like, and then like to your point, people just like maybe take a chance on Milroe or Jackson Dart or whoever and just maybe hope they hit the lottery with that. Like, whew, that could be because like I said, in that division, you need all the pass rushers you can get in that division.
That's true.
Like you're dealing with dudes. So like, yeah, having Abdul Carter as a rush in and then having Myles Garrett off a fresh contract. Yeah. And their defense is even without those two, they're still really good. So that could be a possibility. So like I said, I'm ready for the draft. Like I said, Thursday night, hopefully Milroe, who's getting invited, doesn't get the, what do you call it? I guess the Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson treatment where he's just sitting in the Will Levis by himself. Yeah, that Will Levis situation. Like, man, hopefully that didn't happen to him. But I think in good faith that they invite these guys because they kind of know maybe they're going to get drafted in the first round. But who knows? Guys lie all the time. GMs lie all the time. So we'll see. But like I said, NBA playoffs going on, NFL draft starting Thursday this weekend. Make sure you guys tune in to Tyson Talks _. Make sure you guys also check in Quantro Knows YouTube, Spotify, Apple, 5-star review, thumbs up, so we can get in algorithms. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we are out.